What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Click, 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 like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Yo, like and subscribe. Yo, like and subscribe. I gotta wait for this Tesla to pass. I'm really gonna go really fast. Sorry, that was bad. Anyway, Teslas will always beat Traily Bailey. It's just the nature of electric vehicles. Anyway, video games. Anyway, so I'm back. I'm back in the temperate climate, the warmth. No more snow, no more frizzles. No more flurries. No more snow falling off the NBC building in downtown Chicago. No more none of that. We're back. I haven't even looked at Twitter today, actually. I've been peeping a little bit of Peter Ovo and what's his face? Tim Dog's little crybaby asses. Sorry. It's so funny to me how fragile people become or are. I mean, these are older men. I'm an old man, right? Am I fragile? Not over video games. Yeah, nah. I mean, life is too, there are too many more important things in life than to get flustered about video. That's like, imagine if you're like a board head game. You're a board game head, right? You're like, yo, I love board games. I got 5,000 board games in my house. And then, I don't know, Parker Brothers come out and do something ridiculous. I can't even. Wizards of the Coast come and they do something and they hurt your feelings and they ruin Dungeons and Dragons for the rest of all time or something. And you're like, man, you start crying over board games or toys like Transformers. Oh man, dude, they ruined Transformers. No more exclusive Transformers for my collect. I could I could keep going on and on and on. It's fandom, yes, but I mean, check yourself. Why are you gonna? Anyway, I'm sorry. This is not what this is about. That's just what I glimpsed on Twitter when I was in Chicago. I was like, oh, what's going on? I looked. I was like, it's same old crybabies crying about stuff they don't need to be crying about. And in the end, they're gonna end up just like Crab Gamer. Like I said before, Crab Gamer did. I think Crab flipped again. So whatever. Like, is anybody taking him seriously? Are they gonna? Here's the thing about that, right? And all the others, influencers that have kind of a following way bigger than me, is that they have, like, I followed Crab Gamer back in the day when he was an Xbot, right? And I never went back to unsubscribe. It was like, man, it's like, that's work for me to go through my subs and like off, un. I'm not doing that. I'm like, look, you gave me whatever. You were entertaining back in the day. I'm not gonna take away my sub, unless he, I don't know, verbally attacks me or something like that. Even then, I probably wouldn't do it because it's not that big a deal. You know what I mean? And as a rule of thumb, I tend not to try to mess with nobody's bunny when it comes to that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? There was actually a little behind the scenes. I'm gonna be vague because I can't tell you the details, but there was a situation at my job where I could have definitely got somebody fired. Definitely. I mean, it's the capital D, definitely. And I sat back. What I usually do is when I'm faced with the decision, when I'm in a certain situation where it's like, maybe I need to just pause. Not that pause, but regular pause, and kind of think about the different angles. Think about maybe this person's perspective or blah blah blah. I try to work all the angles, right? And I say, would me going through with the process of getting this person fired, like, who would it benefit? And it would benefit some people potentially, but at the same time, maybe this person made a mistake, and I'm not, depending on the mistake that you make or the thing that you do, I'm not gonna like damn someone who has possibly made a mistake that could possibly ruin the rest of their lives because of something that I would, invoke, let's just say. And so I didn't. I paused on it. Now, this person has gone on to do some other things, allegedly. So we'll see. We'll see how this all shakes out. Maybe I will invoke the power of the wrath of whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So, video games. So we have Helldivers, which is doing okay. We talked about that. That's fine. Final Fantasy Rebirth is getting good reviews, obviously, because it's a Final Fantasy game. Why wouldn't it? Once again, it's the Xbox tax, it's the PlayStation exemption, blah, blah, blah. And one thing I did notice, though, Nintendo had their partner Direct, which is not Nintendo games, Direct. And what was there? It was Hi-Fi Rush. No, it wasn't Hi-Fi Rush. It was Pentiment, right? Pentiment and Grounded going to the Switch. Now, Grounded going to the Switch, dope, because that's basically what if Minecraft grew up but shrunk down, if that makes sense. That's what Grounded is. I played Grounded in early access, and like the whole backyard wasn't filled out, like the sandbox wasn't even done. I don't even know what else is in there. I got to go back into Grounded because I had a good amount of stuff. I want to get all the cartridges. It's a kind of a cool game if you, like, I'm thinking about, I kind of just want to go through the story and kind of avoid like the spiders and all that stuff. I mean, that's the challenge. I've fought a couple of spiders, wolf spiders, and they're all right. And it's cool how you kill a wolf spider, you get the resources, and you get better armor and better weapons and stuff. And it's the way that game is set up. It's very much kind of like yes, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but it's different because it feels like an old school game in the sense that it's like, remember those games where you would just play and get lost in? That's what it feels like. Grounded feels like a game that you can just get lost in because of like what it is and the mysteries that are in the game. Even as early access, as I was playing it, I was like, yo, this is cool. And I was just playing it on regular. I wasn't playing it on super easy build everything mode. Although I think I did try that, and I was like, oh, but I got so many resources that I built like a walkway basically, so I wouldn't have to walk through the yard. So I built like a giant walkway that like spanned the whole yard. It was from the porch to the oak tree. Is it oak tree? The oak tree. And that's where the pond is, instead of the koi pond. And so I built that so that I wouldn't run into any creatures or critters or anything. And it was faster. It was just a straight shot. And I think I saw it on a video. I was like, yo, man, let me just try that. And I did. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And there's a couple of little kind of tricks when it comes to building. Like if you build this and then you put this I don't know if they fixed any of this, but in the early access it was. So you could build certain platforms on top of each other without it having to be supported by a foundation and all this stuff. But anyway, Grounded is really a cool game for like a team of whatever it was, 13 to 15 people or whatever built that. It's a really good game. And I mean, it's just another example of where the video games are going, where the industry is going. This is a piggyback appendum. This is a continuation of last video, basically, where these games have to be rescoped. They have to have more realistic scopes, like the scopes that were back when the 360 and the PS3 era started. Those games are perfect size, 15-hour game. The production value was middle. It's in the middle. I mean, my thing is like, why can't it be higher? Like, why does it take so much money to create these these cinematics or these cutscenes or whatever, with the technology that has, it's been 10 years. Why isn't the technology way better? I mean, it is. So, I mean, just looking at what they can do with Unreal Engine 5 and what's her name? Jurgensen, I forgot her first name. Mina? I don't know. I think I said that last time too, but she did the thing live on an iPhone on stage, and it spit it out, and it looked pretty good. I was like, there you go. You do all that stuff. How long is it going to take, like, one person or a small team of animators to fix a few frames, some keyframes and all that stuff? So I'm still wondering, like, where the bloat is. Is it just poor management? Is it just like unskilled labor that's trying to do something way above their pay grade and they're getting paid anyway? Like, I couldn't do that stuff. So, why would you pay me to do it? You get the best people to do those things, and I guess they cost more money. Or, you create some AI tools that make it work, that do the job, that people are, getting overpaid for or whatever. I mean, I don't want to say it like that because, it's what it's like for me? I think about it. It's like animation, right? Hand drawn, even CG animation, right? There's, you have your keyframes, and then you have the in-betweens, right? And a lot of the programs and not DAWs, but a lot of the apps, whatever, they do their own interpolation to fill in the frames for animation, animation smoothing or whatever you want to call it. So a job that would have been done by in-betweeners back in the day is now, for lack of a better term, an AI assisted function. You say, oh, well, here's one frame, here's another frame, computer fills in the rest. You don't need an in-betweener. You just need a keyframe artist who's really good at keyframes. And so, I mean, my question is, where can we add, like, AI functionality to the pipeline where I would say some of these things, some of these jobs are wasted. It's like, think about like when, like, NASA has a hammer, right? Like, oh, this is the space shuttle hammer. It's made of titanium and super glue or whatever it's made out of, right? How much the hammer cost? Oh, it's like a $500 hammer. I'm like, why does the hammer cost $500? It's a hammer, son. Why? It's there are politics involved in all of these kind of, when it comes to money. And they say, oh, well, we have a budget of this, we're going to use all this money for what? If you go to a publisher and say, well, we need this much money, and they're like, okay, and then you have to explain what all the money is for. Mainly it's for salaries, obviously, but you have computer, you have equipment, all these things, right? But salary is the most expensive part of that. So I don't know, man. It's just, for me, I still think that I'm looking at these smaller teams that are making these awesome games. Even Helldivers had a smaller team, right? And why can't there be more of these smaller games that don't take as long to make in the industry? Keeping the industry strong, solid, instead of everybody's kissing Sony's ass, kissing PlayStation's ass, and they're sitting there destroying the industry and destroying their own company themselves. And we're looking at them like they're the best, that their shite don't stink, and they're the best thing ever. Oh, they're so good. They make the best games. Like, no, they don't. They make the most expensive games. Anybody can make a really expensive game. Anybody can take a pretty good game and add $200 million to it and make it, ooh, super duper shiny. Anybody can do that. That's what Sony's been doing. And you're acting like it's some special sauce that only they can do. No. Every studio in video games can do that. If they have the money, they can hire more people, like Sony, have 3,000 people work on a game, like Sony, hire all these 2,000 contractors, like Sony. It's a piss poor management, and it's a piss poor outlook. It doesn't work, hasn't been working for a while. And the fact that that is Sony's bread and butter. Not bread and butter, but that's what they've been known for. And the fact that they can't do it anymore, to the extent that they have done it, it's going to hurt their reputation. It's going to hurt the quality of their games, or the perception of the quality of their games. Now, people are you're still getting that that PlayStation exemption with like Helldivers, even though Sony published it. They paid for it. They didn't make it. So that's kind of worse, right? You're like, oh, yay, that's a first party. It's not really, because your first party teams didn't make it. So the actual skill involved in making a game like Helldivers wasn't from Sony, wasn't from PlayStation. That's one of the main things I want people to realize, that Nintendo does this too. They hire third-party studios to make some of their games. Not all of them, but some of them. And so when Sony's whole year is full of these third-party exclusives, where third parties are making the games for PlayStation, there's no quality control. Because when you say, oh, it's a Sony game, maybe a Sony first party, you'll be like, a lot of people, the perception is, oh, it's going to be quality. Let's go, right? But when it's a third party, I mean, you could get Destruction All-Stars, even though technically that's not a bad game. It wasn't a bad game. It sucked because, once again, I'm so tired of talking about Sony. They're so boring. Sony doesn't know how to make money. Coming from the CEO's mouth, man, I still can't believe Hiroki Totoki just like smack, went out there and just told these ponies and these donkey unicorns what was up. Did Porter Rock do a video on that? How Hiroki Totoki, your fearless leader, as of whenever he got fired, whenever Jim Ryan got fired, literally said, yeah, PlayStation kind of sucks at making money. They don't know what they're doing. I don't hear none of the ponies talking about that. Demand better, ponies. Demand better products. Demand better games that make more money, so you don't have to pull a Dreamcast on PlayStation. I mean, imagine if PlayStation pulls the Dreamcast, they get out of the hardware business, because literally they wasted a lot of money on hardware this year. PSVR 2 trash, PS Portal trash. The PlayStation 5 the redesign is horrible, and if they're doing a PlayStation 5 Pro, oh Lord, that's gonna be the nail in the coffin. They don't have the money. They lost $10 billion in equity and in worth. How are they gonna put out a PlayStation 5 Pro? Oh, excuse me. Okay, so here's what I think. If PlayStation puts out a PlayStation 5 Pro, it's gonna be $600, $599. Easy. Is it gonna be more? There might be more. They might pack in a game and then charge you $650, $649. I'm telling you, y'all seen it. Y'all seen the greed of Sony, and it's actually. I'm gonna bring that back. I don't want to call it greed. It's desperation. Sony found themselves in a situation where they're losing money. They need to make money. How do they make money? Charge more money for their fan base. Instead of trying to expand the fan base, instead of going against their, I guess, mantra of exclusives matter so that we can sell consoles. That's the caveat, sell consoles. Without exiting that strategy, Phil Spencer said it. There's only two ways to go about it. You either expand your reach and figure out a way to make more money in different places, or you charge your customers that you have now more money. Sony chose the latter. I'm sorry, I know I'm repeating myself, but this is a very important inflection point in video games and the video game business, because y'all don't remember. A lot of y'all, I mean, some of y'all know, but some of y'all are too young. When Atari went down, now it wasn't doom and gloom per se, because video games weren't gonna die, because A, the arcades were super strong at that point. B, computers were coming out, Commodore, all that stuff was still strong in the UK, with Sega and all that stuff. So Atari pooping the bed, the way that they did, how it happened, it's not exactly the same as what PlayStation is going through, but it's I mean, it is different, but it is similar in that Atari had a poor business plan. Their strategy was poor, piss poor. And Sony's is similar. Not as bad as what Atari did, because Atari basically, they flooded the market with trash games, hot trash games. I'm going to say it started with Pac-Man. The Pac-Man port of the arcade was the worst piece of hot trash garbage. Even the sounds were horrible in that game. I'm like, yo, what is this? It was horrible. You know, and you look at E.T., dude made that in what? I was going to say 3 weeks, but I think it was 3 months or something like that. And it wasn't the best game. It wasn't that good game. But I mean, Atari 2600, that's primitive time. I myself still don't understand how that technology worked, because it had something to do with the scan lines on the CRT, and I was like, what? Because it didn't have sprites, or I forgot what. It was so weird to me. I was like, I don't get it, but whatever. Or it did have sprites, I don't know. It was definitely a different time. But, you know, you have to look back in the past. You have to remember where video games came from, and the road bumps, the roadblocks, the bad things that happen within the industry. Death of arcade games. I mean, arcades have had a resurgence, but it's mainly a nostalgia thing, not so much a business thing. And I appreciate it because it's saving, or it's keeping the history alive as far as arcade games go. And like I said, I did a video. Well, I didn't do a video on it, but I mentioned that I got the Hink whatever, the little excuse me. It's like a little Japanese Super Nintendo, basically. It's got all emulators and stuff on it. I was like, that's pretty cool. And it's just a nostalgia box. It doesn't perform that well. It's okay, you know. And basically, I wanted it for old arcade games. And the fact that these companies aren't selling these things like old arcade ROMs, it's a shame, because people would buy it. People would buy them. Like, say you say, oh, I want to buy a Raspberry Pi. You go in a Raspberry Pi store, and Sega has a little store, and you say, yeah, buy all the arcade ROMs right here, or buy, you know, a la carte or whatever. I would have been done that, to have it legally and without, like, you know, without any kind of de novo or anything like that. But now, I mean, there's easier ways to do it, but it's still, you know, I don't mind giving a little bit of money to Sega or whomever if they're gonna provide me with what I want. Give me the Yu Suzuki collection, I'm good. But they don't want to do stuff like that. They, you know. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm rambling, and I'm really tired. That trip took a lot out of all the snow. I was snowbound. Anyway, I appreciate you showing up, hanging out, letting me know, like and subscribe. I'm gonna get off this thing because traffic's getting a little hectic out here. And let me know in the comments below what you think about, like, kind of like the situation that Sony is in, PlayStation is in, well, that PlayStation put Sony in, as far as losing the $10 billion. I know this is a reiteration of yesterday's kind of questions, but it's a little bit nuanced as far as like their business model, like making these games in order to sell consoles. Like, how long do you think they're gonna stick to that? How long? I mean, the day and date has already happened. Helldivers 2 was the first. Well, I don't think it was the first day and date game, but it was one of the bigger ones, right? And it just proves the point that PlayStation can make more money. I'm gonna say this is gonna be controversial, but I believe that Helldivers 2 made more money on PC than it did PlayStation. That's a problem for Ponies and Donkey Unicorns, who are so adamant about, you know, clutching onto the tit of PlayStation because it destroys their console first argument. Nobody cares about that anymore. It's all about PC. There's hundreds and hundreds of millions of PCs. I'll probably say 1 billion PCs out there. I think Phil Spencer said there's like 2 billion PCs out there. I forget what it was. But the point is that the PC business is better for PlayStation than the console business. Microsoft figured this out long ago. And so, how long will it take for Sony to realize that day and date PC console, yes, but day and date, like their PlayStation Plus and whatever. Look, I'm sorry, ramble. Let me know in the comments below what y'all think. Hit me up and things. Sorry, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Sorry, just wait.